No Damon Wayne for generations was major pain. And we kill each other, but when it's done, we don't say a thing. You niggas stripping. Well, in other words, y'all niggas Christian. Worship white Jesus when scriptures give his description. And shout out to my kindred that's really living was written. Keeping laws that was given instead of willfully.
Yo, brother. Haram. Haram. Turn this way, brother. Come on. Yo, how you doing, man? How you doing? Let me talk to you real quick, bro. Cool, all praises. How you doing, man? What's your name? You said what again? Angel? Daniel. My bad, bro. I can barely hear you. You can step a little closer. You feel me? What you got going on? Yeah, where are you from? From Oakland. Okay, cool. Where are you from? Like your nationality? You're Mexica? From where though?
I read my books, so like the whole thing when they like ask me like, oh, like what city you from? Like, yeah, that's stuff. Like we do that now, but like.
What's that mean? Can you explain that? Cause I'm not picking
like,
that up.
So like, it's like how I see like nowadays, like when someone like at least like it's like old folks, my folks do that to me. It's like they want to know like how your Spanish sounds, what Spanish like, how it be like, and like.
That's why you said Mexica, right?
Like Mexica, like when
okay.
I say Mexica, I mean like in general, like I generalize myself. But like nowadays, it's like like what town are you from? Like what city are your parents from? Or you're from there, like or you're ranchero, or like or you're a city boy, something like that. But, like,
okay.
I like to go a little more forward, like farther back, and like that's why I say Mexica
okay, cool.
instead of like anything else.
See that, and that's why I want to go even further back. You said Mexica, right? From where though? Because not all Mexicans are Mexica, right?
Like I know we're lost as a people, so I haven't gone far back enough, just enough for like what the books have told me.
Where's your dad from?
Like they're Michoacan.
From Michoacan. And see, and this is the thing. More than likely, you being from Michoacan, you're not Mexica, right? Because here's the thing: the indigenous from Michoacan, we're for the most part is one of the second biggest empire in Mexico. They're the Purépechas, right? That's the Aztecs' rival. Right, so I'm Purepecha. The brother here, Purepecha. He's Purepecha, right? A lot of people never heard about that, right? You probably heard the word Tarascan. Have you ever heard Tarascan before? And here's the thing: this is the same thing like them calling you just Mexican or Latino. Tarascan in our language means the father-in-laws because they came and tried to take out women. So they were like, that's derogatory. So when you look us up in the books, we're not labeled under Purepechan, which is what they are. They're labeled Tarascan, the father-in-laws. Now when you go to Pascuaro in our main lands, that's why those people know if you're not Purepechan, you're not allowed to buy there. You're not allowed to marry their women. They're so strict on that now because that's how dirty they did our people, right? They try to take over our whole identity. But our people are some of the people that never got conquered in Mexico. You can go back to those cities now in Mexico and it's still the indigenous people. They're still talking that dialect, you feel me? So our culture wasn't really lost, but to us over here, we are kind of lost, bro. I mean, that's why we want to cling to everything. Not just Latinos. When you talk to so-called black people, they'll say we're Egyptian. We're all this madness. We're Moors. But they don't know what they really are. You know what I mean? Just like how you're trying to cling to that. You feel me? We're Mexica. We're trying to go back, but we're not too sure on where to go from there. You feel me? So let me ask you this. Where were we, our people, before we got to Mexico? Or were we always in Mexico?
Never. We're all over the place.
Like where?
I feel like East Coast, and then we started from there, and then we came over here to West Coast.
Well, so we started in the East Coast then.
I want to say it was just like we've been here, like however.
Like in the Americas, I mean, my bad.
In the Americas, I feel like we started here, we've been here, but like I know where we come from too. Like we don't come from like Europeans and stuff. I know we came from Moors. We came from them.
From the Moors?
We traded from them first, and like we seen that stuff before. And it's only when then like people started finding out about us. Like that's when they were like,
I'm gonna show you something.
Where'd you learn that from?
me like from my books I've been reading, and then like people that most.
So Mexicans come from Moors.
Like, well, at least we're more like close descended to them instead of like anyone else.
Let me ask you this: what is Moors?
Moors? Ain't that like the original like people here that like are from here?
Nah, brother.
Absolutely not.
That's kind of like a broad term. They call anybody that's dark skinned just Moor.
Word?
Yeah.
It just means black. That's all it means. It's not even nationality.
And here's the thing: like you said, records, right? That's the history. So when the so-called when they came over here to Americas in expeditions, right? There's this dude, I believe his name was Clark, and we're gonna look it up right now to show you this, right? So this dude Clark, he brought with him a black man, right? So when he brought this man with him, the indigenous people were kind of surprised. They were like, what is this, right? If the so-called indigenous here were black, what would they find so interesting of seeing a black man if they were themselves, right? If they're seeing something that's always there. You get what I'm asking you?
Well, weren't they already here? I thought we were like strangers before.
I mean, yes, right? So since the times of Solomon in the Bible, you can read about him with Hiram trading and coming to the Americas, right? But there's a distinction, just like the Olmecs, right? The Olmecs don't, the other Latinos didn't consider themselves the Olmecs the same as them, right? They called them the rubber people. They're separate. They're not with us. There's also even some bands of Chichimecas that the indigenous of the Chichimecas didn't like neither. And they were the ones that were more savage. They were like, bro, we're going to wipe them out. They actually got them drunk and killed all of them off in the party. Just how it was in Genesis, how Levi and Simeon did with those Hamites. Feel me? So check this out. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, and this is the thing, man. I want to take you further back, because you said Mexica. See, I'm trying to show you how they say how deep the rabbit tunnel is. You feel me? So here.
Everything low-key, that probably sounds off like surface knowledge, but I am trying to get connected more to my roots, man. Like, I'm not ignorant, you know, like my higher teachers that I'm gonna listen, you feel me? Like, hell yeah, like.
I got you, brother. Watch this right here. Let me show you this. Okay, cool.
So this is York. York was a man. He was enslaved. He was a black man enslaved, right, by to explore the West, right. So York's most spectacular contributions were with the Native American tribes the expedition came into contact with, whose assistance was sometimes very necessary. According to the journals of the expedition, York's blackness served as a passport with them. They were impressed by such a strange creature.
That's the thing, a strange creature, a black man to these indigenous.
According to Richard Betts, he was the main attraction in the Lewis and Clark's traveling magic show with a sensation. The following experts are from the expedition official reports. October 9th, 1984, the object which appeared to astonish the Indians most was Captain Clark's servant, his slave, York, a remarkable stout Negro man. They had never seen a being that color, and therefore flocked around him to examine the extraordinary monster.
So this is the thing, the indigenous were like, man, what is this? If the indigenous were so-called black, if the Moors, if they were indigenous to the Americas, why are the actual indigenous to the Americas so surprised with seeing a black man? Because they're not, bro. It's us, right?
By way of amusement, he told them that he had once been a wild animal. This is Lois and Clark saying this, man, that he was an animal, right? By the way of and caught and tamed him by his master, and to convince them, showed them the feats of strength which added to his looks and made him more terrible than he wished to him be. After this, the air gun was exhibited, very much to their astonishment, nor were they less surprised. And they also called them big medicine. Now, if you understand what medicine is to the indigenous, medicine might be an aura, medicine might be an energy. You know what I'm saying? So they knew that this man was totally different, but it was foreign to him, the type of skin color that he was, man. So that whole madness that the Negro was the first Native American, that's pseudo, and that's indigenous erasure, which is hurting our people right now, man. Just a couple years back, see, a lot of our black brothers are buying into this madness, and a couple of them even went to a reservation with guns and pointed guns at our Native American brothers, demanding land, saying, "Give us back our land." So this is very hurtful information, man. Right?
Right, I'm gonna show you, because at the same time, we were people that depicted ourselves as well, right? Just how they have like drawings, hieroglyphics, whatever you may call it, right? And I want to go into that a bit, right? We depicted ourselves a certain color, right? And what did you got? You got something? Okay, Yeah, we can hold that, bro. So here's the thing. That whole more stuff. Also, what they try to push too is say that for some reason that we're Asians too, right? Like the whole Bering Strait madness, right? The Purepechas also wrote their creation story. Do you know how we say we came to be?
Kind of do. Wasn't there like 2 cycles before we're in this cycle? And then like every cycle, it's we had to like.
That's what she got. 5 sons.
Then I would have to. I'm gonna Google that one to put a picture, like, because if that's where like my last name is Rios Guerrero, right? Like my parents didn't name me after Bible names, bro. Like I got no Nahuatl in my name whatsoever. And like my mom's from Guadalajara, she's a city girl, and you know her descendants, she's white as a motherfucker. You feel me? Like and my dad's hella crispy bright, like so I come out caramel. I'm like right in the middle.
Here's the thing. We've always been different colors, brother.
Yeah, like,
we've always been different colors.
So even before like all that, like my mom just doesn't have more European DNA in her than my father's side does. Or like, because that's how I was going about with like information when I was like getting into these books, like the whole Mexica thing with like how the cycles work. Like then that's the only history I know. If there's if there's different tribes like that I should.
Okay, so I'm gonna expand on that, right? So the Purepechas, what they believe that there's one supreme God and he's a war god, just how Exodus 15:3 says, right? And that supreme war god created lesser gods to create everything else, right? But see, they're still going off there saying, okay, we're gonna praise this fire god, this water god, this and that god. But that idea of there being one supreme God, you don't really find that everywhere, right? That's a biblical concept. There's one supreme God that created lesser gods to create everything else. That's what Genesis 1 teaches, right? And they also teach that they're not from there, that they came from somewhere else. That they came. There's also this Navajo woman who went to these reservations and she's interviewing these kids on the reservations, and they're drawing boats on the floor. They're like, "What are these boats on?" She's like, "This is where we came from. We're not from here." And those indigenous kids that have never left the reservation, that don't know anything else other than the reservation, know that they're not from there.
Yeah, and like if you even ask them, the Navajo didn't even say that we came from the east. Yeah, so like
here, show them that one. Because that's the thing, man. Our people are so stuck on color, right? They think being white is the more supreme thing, right? Even with my family, if you could get that picture, right? Even with my family, here, I'm gonna get that. Even with our family, our own family bashes each other, right? They'll say, "Este Apache, this straight viene del cerro." We're the same family. Some of my family is lighter, some of my family is darker.
now the word if I'm not mistaken, it was never. But a lot of natives, indigenous from North America, they'll tell you they came from the east. You know what I'm saying? But it's rivals. Even in the Popol Vuh, where the Maya, the whole description, which is called the Popol Vuh, tells them they came from the east, with everybody, with the Toltecs and everybody. You know what I'm saying? So this is a common occurrence with the indigenous saying they came from the east.
Here, get this.
If I'm not mistaken, this comes out of a book called The Lost Tribes and the Promised Lands, right? The only other writer this author found who accepted the Issachar variation of the 10 Lost Tribes theory was Baltasar de Medina in his Crónica de la Santa Provincia de San Diego de Mexico of 1682. Although Medina thought the South Americans and Yucatecans were descendants of the Gentile Yecten, father Ophir, the Mexicans are originally of the 10 tribes captured by Salmanazar and of the family of Issachar, whom the Indians recognized as their special ancestors.
Right, so now get a second into 13. So this is the thing. Are you familiar with the Bible? Have you ever studied the Bible or know anything about the Bible like that?
Just like skim through it, but not like
Okay.
I'm not fledged.
So a very big thing, or at least something I personally never heard of when I was growing up, because I grew up Catholic. I'm assuming you're Catholic too. You're Mexican, right? And this is something that they pushed on our people. You can have that dude hanging somewhere in your house, I'm sure, right? Am I wrong? Grandma, abuelita prays to that guy. So here's the thing. Something you're never gonna hear about is the 10 lost tribes, las tribus perdidas de Israel. You're never gonna hear that. They don't teach that. They teach that everybody's just one thing now, right? If you believe in Jesus, you're a child of Israel now, right? There's 12 tribes altogether. That just said that they've always been looking for, these anthropologists have always been looking, look up Purepecha and lost tribes, bro, on Google. I'm gonna show you something. People were infatuated with our people, bro, when they started trying to study our people. right? Because when people study the anthropology of the indigenous here, they're always trying to figure out who they are. You said what again? Exactly. Why? Because we have so much more a culture, so much more salt, how the Bible says, that we're interesting to these people. You can drop that. That's good. But there's this quote, right, that I was trying to get. It says that anthropologists were so fascinated with our people that we added a whole nother like dimension to finding the lost tribes, because they're like, damn, these people they're more cultured. They have all these like a heritage stuck with them, right? They don't beat, like for example, the Aztecs, when they went to different places, they would let them keep their language. Well, our people, whenever we conquered another place, we said, no, you're keeping our customs, you're doing exactly what we're doing. We're not watering down our language. That's why they're so able to look into our peoples a lot more, right? So right here it says that the Issacharites are one of the 10 lost tribes, right? So I'm gonna ask you, if the Bible is real, right? If all of us believe the Bible is real, who do we descend from in the Bible, right? Because there's only a limited number of nations in the Bible. There's not thousands of nations, right? So who do we descend from as Mexicans, right? As the Aztecs, as the Incans, as the Mayans, who are we? You said you wanted to go deeper, right? That's pretty deep right there, brother. Who are we before we were called Mexica? Before we came here? Just how the brother was bringing out, when we were in the East, who were we? You said the Olmecs?
I want to say that so bad. Yeah.
See, and here's the thing: a lot of people try pushing that as well, saying that they're the first ones, right? Though, here we'll go into that. I'm gonna have you explain to me what you think this is, because the Bible is also in parables as well, right? It'll say, okay, if you can get Genesis 49, and then we'll bring this out, and then we'll get that Assyrian star thing that you have, right? Because that's very powerful right there. Here, I'm hold on. Look real quick, brother. I'm not gonna sit here and bash you on smoking weed, because most of us, if not all of us, did that, and that's how we stumbled onto this. And we were sitting there like, yeah, like this is conspiracy theories, right? But weed also has its purpose on the earth, right? The Most High put it here for us. Get that in Genesis 1. I'm gonna touch.
There's a reason why we're born with more opioid receptors in our stomach than in our lungs. It's a matter of fact, I don't even think that we even have opioid receptors in our lungs. We have them in our brain and our stomach, and the majority of them in our gut. It's because it's made to eat, right? It's the reason why you choke, man. That's your body's natural way to tell you that don't belong in your lungs, man.
And I remember when I was coming into this, I was like, you know what, the Most High gave us weed. It's a plant. You know what I mean? What harm am I doing? But you won't find nowhere where it says, go get that, roll it up and light it, or just smoke it. You know what I mean?
Tell about your boy that popped his
Oh yeah, see, and here, read this first.
This is Genesis 1:29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed,
Which is, marijuana is an herb-bearing seed.
which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
For meat, to eat it. You know what I mean? It's made to be eaten. Put it in the tea. Even our people as Latinos, what do? We mix it with alcohol and you put it on you. Right? That's something we do. Right? So everything has its purpose. It was made for that. You know what I mean? So eat it if necessary, you know what I mean, for whatever pain you got or whatever XYZ thing, but don't chase a high. You know what I mean? Like, for example, how the brother was saying, I had a brother that I was talking to this about, and he was interested in this. And I was like, bro, you gotta quit smoking. You know what I mean? Eat it if you have to. And he's like, nah, bro, well, I don't know, I can't get with it now. The next day he calls off of work because he had blisters all down his throat. Right? The Most High, the very next day, hit him with something. The Most High is not something that you play around with. You know what I mean? Especially if you understand it and you're like, yeah, it's true, but then you turn a blind eye. We had another brother that was coming up here who popped a lung and still went back to smoking. How bad is it? How bad is something had to do to you, almost kill you, and you still be like, you know what, I'm still gonna smoke it. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That's madness, right? So get that in Genesis. Yeah, 49 and 1 and then 14. Right, so I'm gonna show you. This is who this just said the Mexicans are, right? That this thing just said the Mexicans are the Issacharites, right? The Issacharites.
So this is Genesis 49 and 1. And Jacob called his son. He called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together. And I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
Right, so this man Jacob, the progenitor of the 12 tribes, got his sons together and said, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen in the last days now. Right? So Issachar,
Verse 14. Issachar is a strong ass, couching between two burdens.
right? So one step at a time, right? Issachar is a strong ass. You know what an ass is? What a strong ass would be? A donkey, right? There's this city, as in Mexico, it's called Issacharite de Matamoros, where every single year they also do a donkey celebration. They're saying like they're giving praise to this donkey. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Although that is off, they're considering or they're recognizing that this donkey, for some reason, has something of importance with them. And it's also called Issachar. This is saying the tribe of Issachar, right? It's a strong donkey, right? And what is a donkey known for? It's a servile animal. It's working. Who is the most hardest working people there is out here? I mean, it's us, bro. You can find us anywhere. We're building everything that's in San Francisco here. And they'll do it with a smile on their face, getting paid the least that there is. You know what I mean?
And he saw that rest was good.
He saw that rest was good. We know in Mexico more than here, there's siestas. You know what a siesta is? Even when the brothers, when they came to my house, my family has a whole bunch of cactuses up there with a little Mexican figures on the bottom taking a nap with the sombrero. I know we all seen it. That's how Mexicans are portrayed stereotypically everywhere. That man is taking a siesta. He's taking a rest. He's resting, right? Go ahead.
And that the land, that it was pleasant and bound his head to bear.
So they saw that the land that they came to was pleasant. Man, what you know, like what are these places in Mexico, bro? Like Playa Azul, like Cancun, like all these different resorts that they have in Mexico that still have cartel violence behind it, but it attracts tourists, right? Because Mexico is beautiful, bro. Like Tenochtitlan, right? When they came over there, they were like, damn, like we never seen nothing like this. The agricultural stuff that our people knew, everybody was surprised. They're like, damn, this place is nice, right?
Mexico is among the world's largest producers of oil, silver, copper, gold, lead, zinc, natural gas, and wood. Other minerals such as mercury, cadmium, antimony, manganese, iron, and coal are also found. Mexico borders the Pacific Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico.
All right, so it's a beautiful place, man. We have a whole bunch of produce from the earth that's yielding in Mexico. You know what I mean? So what else was on there?
And he became a servant unto tribute.
Right, so he became a servant unto tribute, man. I could go to any Home Depot any single day of the week and say, look, bro, who's trying to work? And they'll be like, I'm gonna work, but I'm only gonna pay you $80. I need the money. You know what I mean? So it goes, even if you go back to the name Issachar itself, it means he is hired, right? So that's the thing. Who is that? Who is that? That's not those damn white people in Israel today who are calling themselves Jews, right? Who is that? That's us, brother. You feel me? So now, get this. Go ahead. Huh? That's what we're gonna get right now. Yeah. Get the Chief Joseph stuff.
This is the set.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Perfect. So okay. Perfect. So the topic was the 10 lost tribes. The lost tribes. Where did they go? You know what I mean? So this right here is the Apocrypha. That 1611 Bible, the King James Bible, has that in here. But these books were taken out. The Catholic ones, I think they had 70 books in them. Christians have 66 books in them. The Catholic ones, they took out these 2 books right here, or this and 10 other ones. But we have the majority as Catholics in those. You know what I mean? So when I grew up reading, I read 1st and 2nd Maccabees. I read Sirach. You know what I mean? These other books, but 2nd Esdras isn't in there, right? So. And this is why the importance of it. Why does it matter?
This is the 2nd book of Esdras, chapter 13, starting at 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive.
So I'm gonna just pause real quick, right? The king of Assyria right there. They're mentioning Assyria, and it's the 10 lost tribes with them, right? They were carried away captives by the Assyrians. Keep that in mind, right? Go ahead.
Them over the waters captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
So they went to Assyria, right? Go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Who was here before the Aztecs? before the Incas, before the Mayans, and we already can prove that it's not black people that were here this whole time. So who was here before them? Huh? I mean, all of us, but who was here before us, though? Was a white man here before us? Was there Asians here before us? Japanese? Kind of. What do you mean, kind of? How'd they get here?
Either they were or they weren't. That's the thing.
Didn't they say the Ice Age, like with that whole
The Bering Strait?
Like they came from like where Michigan and like Canada is and stuff. They were like
That's been debunked a long time ago. Just think about it. An ice bridge, right? And we're talking about a mass migration. Do you know how much water someone has to carry on their back or their food? Because this is an ice bridge. There's no vegetation. There's no animals to hunt. How are they going to feed themselves?
In below freezing weather.
In below freezing weather, tundra.
Minus 20 or further below. They can't settle there.
You can't, man. So that ice bridge theory has been debunked, man. Right? And that's and the whole thing about that, they did that. They designed that theory for a reason, man. Right? To hide identities, to hide the facts, man. Right? Read.
It's verse 42. That they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river.
So what these people did, so what we did, man, we ended up, as the account said, we ended up pretty much hijacking their boats in Assyria. And we came over here, right?
For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called ISRAELITE.
Here, get that right here in Spanish. Watch. See right there. It's, when they were passed over, that's Hebrew terminology talking about you're in a ship, right? You were in a ship coming over here. And look how it says it right here in the Spanish one, man. 40. Just get the main part. 45.
This is making sense now because like before this, there's like a vato on Instagram, and he has tattoos and everything.
Marvelous tattoos.
And he was saying stuff sort of like
Bald-headed dude, right?
Bald-headed dude, yeah. And he was now it's like what he was saying, what you're saying now.
Shout out to him.
Yeah. For Maravilla, marvelous. Yeah. So here's the thing, and this is the thing. This is coming up, being more and more prevalent. Right? How it says that someone will plant a seed, but then you'll stumble into someone else who's saying the same exact thing and it's going to resonate. Right? You can't go back and forth with that, brother, but I'm telling you right here, you can ask us anything you want to know about our people, and we're going to lace you up. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm trying to show you. Like, 45.
This is verse 45 in Spanish. Porque a través de ese país había un gran camino por recorrer.
I just want to get that American part.
Porque a través de ese país había un gran camino por recorrer. Es decir, de 1 año y medio. Y la misma región se llama ISRAELITE, las Américas.
Right? So this is the thing. They know what this place was. That's how Christopher Columbus found this here. Oh, this is around 1700 BC, right? And here.
How long did it take to travel?
Oh, Con. So to get here, it says a year and a half. Right? So when we were talking about we've been traveling back and forth, when I was telling you about Solomon and Hiram, it said they took them 3 years. Right? Why is it 3 years? A year and a half there and a year and a half back. That's 3 years. That's when in the time of Solomon when they were coming here. Right here it says that it took them a year and a half. Why only a year and a half? Because we never went back. We stayed here. You know what I mean?
So this is 1 Kings 10:22. For the king, let's start at 21. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of it in the days of Solomon. For the king had seen the navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks.
See, here's the thing. We've been doing this, right? But like how you said, we stayed here. And how do we know that we're these people, though? Check this out right here. Yatazak, if you can get that in the script right there.
It's kind of sunny.
It is kind of strange. So this is the Chief Joseph Stone, right? You can look this up as well. And it's important though because of what he has in his hand. Hold on. What he has in his hand. It's called the Assyrian star, right? Show the brother. So he has this. What is an Assyrian tablet? Or it's actually a receipt, right? From Assyria. The account said that we were in Assyria, and we came from Assyria. Here's the Native Americans with that. Get the Cherokee. And I'm telling you, bro, our culture is so beautiful, bro. And the more you study it, the more you understand, the more you come to realize, bro, that we are these people. And why? The more important thing is, why is it hidden from us then? You know what I mean? Yeah, that part right there. The quote's right here.
All right, so quotes from Cherokee and Sicarii, right? It says, the story has been kept alive among our Cherokee people, that the Sicarii who escaped from Masada are some of our ancestors who managed to cross the water to this land and later became known as Cherokees.
Read the next thing.
North Up claims that the famous scholar, please note that the prophetic resemblance of Sicarii and Cherokee or Saragi.
Right, so here's the thing. And they hid stuff. Masada was after, this is in Israel, right? So this is a fortress that they had, that they went and they were fighting against the Romans, the Sicarii. This is an ancient zealot group of Jewish people, right? Of Jews. I don't want to say Jews, right? But history tells us that supposedly they commit suicide there. That they were fighting off and they commit suicide. The Cherokee themselves are saying that the Cherokees have ancient ancestors that came over here. That they are the Sicarii that came over here from Israel, from Masada. Right? So here's the thing. Why would they lie about that? Why would they lie to us and say in religion and say that we're all the same when we're actually God's chosen people? That's the important thing. Issachar is one of the 12 tribes, and the 12 tribes are God's people. That's the ones that He chose to keep His name lit through. In a better sense. I mean, we're the ones that have His promises. We're the ones that have His covenant. We're the best people on the earth. You can't tell me nobody has better culture than so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Right? Yeah, Isaiah 6. So you said you've been studying books, right? What you know about Quetzalcoatl?
Isn't that our sun god? No,
Our sun god? No.
No, that's our war god, right?
It's a war god?
Quetzalcoatl, that's the serpent. Yeah. Quetzalcoatl's the serpent god, right?
The serpent, right? It's a fiery flying serpent.
So,
But there's more to him, though. And what did he do?
was that the guy that came out his mother's womb, or was it the twin brother of the other guy, that the one that Quetzalcoatl was just like more like chill, he's just kind of like.
Okay, perfect. So let me check this out, man. Quetzalcoatl. He's depicted in several different ways, right? He was an actual man, but he's also depicted as a seraphim, right? When he was a man, you know, he died, right? How did he die? So you say you don't know. Show him the picture. He got pierced in his side, right? Yeah. This is all pre-Columbian, right? So we have these depictions of a man getting pretty much crucified with a spear on his side. Who does that remind you of? Who else died crucified with a spear on his side?
Yeah, huh?
Who?
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. Right, so here's the thing.
Can I raise my hand?
Yeah.
You know, have you guys seen Constantine, the 2003 movie with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
You know, like how, like in the beginning, like they make that whole deal with him, like finding that spear tip with the blood of Christ on it. Why is everything
They said
like
the blood
so
of Christ?
similar?
I don't
Yeah,
remember
like
saying the blood of Christ.
It was like.
But it was a special
It
spear.
was special. Yeah, like why? So how come similarities like that, like what we hear, like pretty much sound like ops, like on the like in the old lands, you know, like these new lands, the ways they like depict like stuff like that.
How we depicted him.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the thing I wanted to show, this isn't a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes here. Right? This is how we depicted Quetzalcoatl came to supposedly die for the Aztecs' sins. That's why he died. But then it also says when he comes back, what is he going to do when he comes back? He's going to avenge his people. That's also what Jesus is supposed to do. Right? He came to die for Israel's sins, and then when he comes back, he's going to judge the world, right?
And mind you, he's the only so-called Aztec god that doesn't require human sacrifice. Like Huitzilopochtli and all, mostly Huitzilopochtli was, he demanded human sacrifice. For some reason, the worship of Quetzalcoatl didn't require a human sacrifice.
Of course it's
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's crazy. So check this out. I'm gonna show you in the Bible, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
So this is Isaiah 6 and 2. Start at 1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne. This is a vision that this prophet was having. High and lifted him up, and his train filled the temple. Attending him, in the NLT, attending him were mighty seraphim.
So around the Most High, it says that there's seraphim, right? You know what a seraphim is? Get that real quick? Or read the verse and then we'll get it. Yeah.
Each having 6 wings.
So this thing got 6 wings.
With 2 wings they covered their faces. With 2 they covered their feet. And with 2 they flew.
They what?
They flew.
So these things are flying, right?
It's called a seraphim?
A seraphim.
Seraphim.
Un serafín.
They were calling out to each other, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of heaven's armies, whose whole earth is filled with his glory.
Right? So praising the Most High.
Their foundation shook the temple to its foundations, and the entire building was filled with smoke. Then I said, it's all over. I am doomed, for I am a sinful man.
This is Isaiah talking, man. He's seeing something so great. He's like, damn, like, I'm not worthy to be seeing this right now, right?
Go back to the KJV saying, then I said, woe is me, for I am undone. Behold, I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me.
One of these creatures came and flew onto Isaiah now.
Having a live coal in his hand.
A live coal. Like, do you know what a coal is also what it can do? Other than just burn you? You said what? It purifies. It cleanses stuff, right?
Which he had taken with tongs from the altar, and he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin is purged.
All right, now get seraphim. So check this out. This creature forgave or cleansed Isaiah from his sin.
He touched my lips with it and said, see, this coal has touched your lips. Now your guilt is removed and your sins are forgiven.
Right, so now this creature did that. In the Bible, other than God himself, who forgives sins? Who's the one that says, all right, your sins are forgiven now?
Other than God?
Earlier.
You said, other than God. Because it says one of these seraphims came and did that to me. What angel? Because you don't see any other angel doing that. Jesus, right? So check this out. So check this out. Seraphim, the word for seraphim.
This is the Hebrew word for seraphim, which is Hebrew word 8314, which is seraph. Seraph. And it's a serpent, a fiery serpent. A poisonous serpent, fiery from burning effective poison, a seraphim.
Right, so this is the thing. So it's a fiery flying serpent. Came over and did that to Isaiah. The same fiery flying serpent that the Aztecs depicted on their temples. The same fiery flying serpent that's also depicted as a man that got crucified with a spear on his side. Right, we knew about Jesus before the white man came and brought us this guy right here. Right. You know what I mean? And so now it's like when you start asking more questions, why would they bring us that instead of when we already knew? Right, because that's white supremacy right there. Now our people don't know about this. Now they don't know that Quetzalcoatl was something that the Aztecs were waiting for to come and revenge him from their enemies. Because why? Supposedly in the church now we don't have enemies. We're all the same now, right? Would you say the so-called Latinos we have enemies? Go ahead, Doc.
You know what this is? Have you seen this before? Not that, but no, the artifact. What's wrong? this artifact. Read right here. What does that say?
It says Ten Commandments inscription, also parts in Mexico.
How did you get here if your people aren't the people of the book, of the Bible, the Israelites? Because Mexicans were in New Mexico at one point before the land got taken, right? Texas, New Mexico, California, Arizona. That was where Mexicans were before the white man conquered, correct? So you guys wrote this, like we said earlier, you guys came over here from Assyria, escaping persecution there, and lived here, dwelled here with the Native Americans. And you guys wrote this to remind yourselves to keep these commandments. You know what I mean? And I'm going to read something else.
And it's Paleo Hebrew too. That's the most ancient Hebrew that we have. That's the language we spoke in Israel.
Yeah, and quiet as kept, the Mexicans had a dialect of Hebrew as well. Let me read this. Let me start. Because they found more than this at this site, but they took them. But it's like on the side of a mountain. He has a picture too, but anyways. Reading left to right, the phrase would transliterate it as, which Pfeiffer saw fit to translate as Temple of Toni. Toni in Hebrew means either my sea serpent or sea serpents, who we just read in Isaiah 6. This phrase hardly seems to fit the context of the other inscriptions, and even if it was a vague reference to Kukulkan, which is what? The Mayan god, which is the same reference. Kukulkan and Quetzalcoatl are the same person, just the different people call them different names. You know what I mean? Feathered serpent. We just read that in the Bible, right? Everything's coming together full circle because you guys were here after you guys left Israel from Assyria. You know what I mean? It all ties in. The archaeology, the history, the Bible is the prophetic book of our history book, but we're so far removed from it, now we think, okay, well, I'm just a Mashiach like you referenced. There's no offense, it's not a problem to call yourself that, but overall, you will be an Israelite in the tribe of Issachar. Known among the tribes of Central America, which, like I said, is the Mayans, it would be inappropriate for worshippers of Yahweh if, however, Dr. Piper mistakenly read one of these letters, variant also to use in the Ten Commandments inscription and hit a mountain as a much more logical sentence emerges. But that wasn't the main point. The point is, this artifact was written by your ancestors. They wrote in Hebrew. This is where I want 600 BC. That's what 27 years ago? You guys were here already. And you mentioned the Olmecs earlier. I'm not sure where you got that from. Because first you said you were Moors. So, are the Olmecs Moors?
I just sort of considered it maybe like saying like how it was before, like.
So you think you guys go back to the Olmecs as well?
No, not like that. Now from what information you told me, like how I was like learning about things. I thought because of like how trading was involved back in the days.
Trading?
Sort of thing, like trading.
What do you mean?
Like okay, so.
So you think the Olmecs were trading with the Aztecs and Mayans? Which I'm pretty sure they might have been doing that.
Yes, so that's where I like ICAP in terms of what I was learning. Now what you guys have told me, I learned a little bit more.
Oh, definitely.
So where I was starting at was like I thought since we were already here, kind of thing already, like and then people would go over here and that's how we got like that weaponry. We go way back, so it's like we're not.
And it's the thing, you gotta understand, like how they say, you gotta understand your history, like how you were trying to look for it. And hopefully you go and you search more and come back next week, right? Because you stay in Oakland, man. We have some brothers that are coming all the way from Fairfield. I'm from East Palo Alto. Brother from Santa Rosa. Brothers are coming everywhere. It's not hard to come back over here and learn. You feel me? We gave you a flyer that has more information, right? So, and this is pretty much what we're teaching our people, bro. That so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans were the Israelites of the Bible, right? And as these people, as these chosen people, there's things that God requires of us. And, Con, Deuteronomy 28. And because we're not doing them, we're in this predicament that we are, right? Like how I asked you earlier, right? Why wouldn't they tell us that we're these people? Why hide such a beautiful thing? You know what I mean? Because being an Israelite has power, right? Can you get Romans 2 in the last verse? Can't get which one?
This is Deuteronomy 28:1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right, see, it says above all nations. We're not equal to, we're not going to be under, we're going to be above everybody. Would you say the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, we're above everybody right now? We are? In what ways, brother?
Like really not pulling up with any socially.
Putting up with whose?
Ops.
with white people, right? But here's the thing, but we are though.
Well, some of them still are. I'm not. I don't do it.
Are you in what ways?
Like, just, I mean, I myself, you know, it's gotten to the point where like, I don't, like, once I threw out the women and I just wanted to see if it wasn't about girls, it's something else, it's always something else. And that's what I was trying to figure out for myself. It was like, well, if it's not me wanting to stay with them, and they still like get the way they do, then it has to be something else. And for that, that's when I started like wanting to know more about myself and everything like that. So, but people don't know what to do. They huff and puff when you just kind of just say like, hey, like, I don't kind of want to do it because of the way you kind of like make yourself sound today. You know, there's other ways to tell me to do things. I'm not gonna do it this way. And they get mad. I'm like, well then, all right then. Well then, you no longer work here. I'm like, well that's fine.
Okay. So, how did they get in that position to be above us if we're the original people here?
Insecurities. There's a word for it. I don't like saying insecurity anymore. I like saying inferior. That's one word I told them already.
Are we inferior to them?
No, we're not. It's the other way around.
Yeah. In what ways, brother? In what ways?
Like in terms of like how my brain space is, like how I can go about my day. Like I don't have to put someone down to make myself feel up. I can do that by myself already. I don't need to do that. Negativity. I'm very feel positive about anything. If I don't know something, I don't get like upset about myself and get ignorant. You know, like I'm there to choose. I chose to stay. I wanted to learn. You know, stuff like that. Little things. It's like I do that all the time.
All praises here. Look, get this one, James.
James 2:5. Hearken, my beloved brethren. Hath not God chosen the poor people of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him?
Right, and here's the thing, we're poor in this world, right? But we have so much faith, brother. You know what I mean? We can be in any job that's the most hardworking job. Man, I've done so, like, back-breaking construction work. And the whole time, we're cracking up with brothers right there. We're singing, we're talking, we're joking, we're messing around. You can't see no white person doing that with us, right? They're the ones that are hiring us to do this for them because they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? But we're so poor in this world, but we're going to be rich in that next world that comes, right? Yes, in that world that comes. But here's the thing, the church, huh? Yeah, and also that's what I'm saying, and also the promises of it, right? Because here's the thing, the church will promise you heaven when you die. The Bible doesn't teach that, bro. The Bible teaches that the heaven's gonna be on earth, right? That we're gonna possess the kingdom forever and forever, and it's gonna be ruling just perfect. And I mean, because we're the true Israelites. We're not. If we, for example, white people ruling everything when they were above us in the slavery times, what were they doing, bro? They're raping the men and the women, killing babies and stuff. Man, I was reading this account with the Aztecs talking about when the white people were over here, they had frankincense and copal in front of them so that they didn't have to smell white people. And the white people in the back were over there thinking about, oh damn, they're doing this because we're such great people, we're holy people. Bro, they stank.
Yeah, we were putting roses around them, and they took it that other way when they were like, nah, bro, we want you to smell good now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
This is Baruch chapter 3 verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God.
So because we departed from the Most High, from His commandments and everything, now we're captives, and now we're paying taxes to people when this is ours, bro.
This is Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So from 1 to 14, these are blessings that are going to happen. But from 15 to 68, those are curses. Right? There's 3 times, 4 times more curses now. Right? And I could go through these curses. I'm gonna go through a couple just so you understand something a little deeper. But like for example, but it's from us not keeping the laws that these curses come upon us, right? Go ahead, get 30, or actually, 32. And these curses, you'll see how it fits our people so to a T. And when if I were to ask you, who are the Jews today? Who are the Jews today? The fake ones. if they're the fake ones, how are they the Jews? But that's who our people think, right? They think that those white people in Israel are the Jews. That's God's chosen people, right?
Revelation 2 and 9. I know that.
We're Jacob's people. That's Yaqub. Yaqub in the Hebrew is Jacob. We're Jacob's people. You feel me? Is a yelling man?
No, that's what the 5%ers in Nation of Islam teach, that Yaqub made the white man, which is madness. And Yaqub is a Hebrew word, but a modern Hebrew word for Jacob, and Jacob is a progenitor of God's son. Well, he's a progenitor of the 12 tribes. You know what I'm saying?
That's how it is, bro.
So this is Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty.
Your tribulation and your poverty, everything you're going through, and your poor people.
But thou art rich.
Like how we said, those promises belong to us, though. How can you be rich and poor at the same time? It's two different distinctions, right? One is a physical, one's a spiritual thing, right?
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, but and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So the ones that are calling themselves Jews, they're the synagogue of Satan, right? So they're not going through poor, through poverty. The Jews own everything. They own all these international banks, and if you decide to fall off from one of these international banks and you don't want to be a part of them, you're gonna go to war, right? They own everything. They're multi-billionaires, bro. So you had Deuteronomy 28.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Right, who do you see cursed in the city right now, bro? You can walk up and down 16th. I'm sure you could go anywhere in Oakland and see who's cursed on the streets right there, right? And who's cursed in the field. Who was and is still cursed in the field. You don't see these, I don't see no damn Jewish people picking cotton in our history, or picking strawberries right now in the Central Valley right now. I mean, who's doing it? Our people, bro. It's us, right? This is a curse.
Hold on. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
So everything that we had is pretty much going to be cursed now. Like it also mentions the stores there. Like our stores aren't going to yield anything. Who do we go for to buy everything here? How many Latino-owned stores you see on 16th right here? And even if we are the owners of it, I mean that we're the ones running it, we have to pay rent there. We don't own that storefront. You know what I mean? And who's the ones that's holding everything? For example, that Latino food right there, Aramex. You know who the owner of that is? That's an Arab man right there. And I know another store that he has in Mountain View called Las Adelitas, a Latino name on there, but it's an Arab man running it. They're making money off of our people.
And also, they just bought up the last Mexican-owned produce store right here, which is on 18th Division. It was the last Mexican-owned produce store in the Mission. And you know the Mission is rich of Latino history. And who bought it up? Another Arab, right? Let me go down to verse 31. Verse 31 is, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto another, thine enemies.
Unto who?
Thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them.
Right here, bro, this is all a mountain of buffalo heads right here. Right, this is what the white people did to the indigenous up here to starve them out. This is like how brother brings out, man, this is a tactic of war, a war tactic here. We're going to starve them out so they come to us for rations of food. Right? Same thing, they did the same thing in Peru with the alpaca down there. Right? They did that to all of our people. This is a curse that's supposed to happen. This is something that they did to our people that was prophesied, and it happened in history. When can you read about that happening to Jewish people? It didn't, bro. This is a curse that was supposed to happen to the Israelites, and it's happened to us, right?
Verse 32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
Right, and that's happening right now in the borders, bro. doing that. They're doing that to our people. How many missing kids in the thousands have you not heard of Latino children in the custody right now of immigration, bro, going missing? And then separating the fathers and the mothers from the children. Having little kids sleep in those damn little, what are those called? Those blankets, those like heat blankets? For months, for years, bro. Kids be going missing. This is a curse that's supposed to happen to the Israelites. This is written for us to remember. You know what I mean? Bro, and this is the thing, it's such a big thing. Bro, if your kid, if a Latino kid goes missing, you're not gonna see it on the news. You know how many indigenous kids go missing every single day, bro? In the hundreds, if not thousands. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, let little Becky go missing. It's gonna be an Amber Alert on your phone in the next 20 minutes.
2018, there was just in 2018, there was 1,500 migrant children lost track of. 1 out of 3 migrants held at the border facilities are migrants.
And this is how you know it's our people, bro. The Haitians have been in Tijuana for years now, trying to cross over here, escape Haiti. What's going on in Haiti right now, and they're not letting them through. They've been stuck in Tijuana now. Ukrainian people are going through something way less than that, bro. And the propaganda that's being pushed on them to make it seem like it's something so crazy, they're getting flown over here, in an airplane over here.
College funds.
Bro, people in Haiti don't even have food like that. They're trying to leave. El Salvador was declared as a state of emergency 2 years ago, and those people are still in the borders right there trying to cross over here. I'm pretty sure it's way worse in El Salvador than it is in Ukraine. You know what I mean? Lord in Christ. See, and this is the thing. They see our people as less than, so bad. But let a white person, let the same thing happen to a white person. It's a tragedy, bro. They say there's nothing more dangerous than a white woman's tears, right? And that's cold, bro. A lot can happen from a white woman crying and just saying something. Bro, exactly. Like with Emmett Till. You feel me? And this is something I just heard maybe like 3 weeks ago. There was a immigration building in Juarez, Mexico, that got burned up, right? And the people in the immigration thing, they all died, bro. The people didn't want to save them. They didn't want to save them, and they got shipped back to El Salvador, to Guatemala, Honduras in cardboard boxes, bro. Bro, they don't care about our people. So who's gonna care for us if no one cares for our people? You know what I mean? So we gotta care for our people. You know what I mean? That's why we're out here telling you, look, bro, you're God's chosen people, and as a king on this earth, you're supposed to be acting like a king. You know what I mean?
Jeremiah 15:5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?
Bro, nobody cares about our problems, right? This is the thing. We got so accustomed to this, to all these problems that are going on, we don't see it as a problem anymore. You know what I mean? When you're looking for a house, you're not over there looking for something for the biggest, baddest house you can get, man. We're like, I know I can only afford to be here. You know what I mean?
Verse 6. Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord. Thou art gone backward. Therefore I will stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting.
Right, here's the thing. We got to go back to what the Most High asked now. Right? That's how he said. That's how we're going to be high above everybody. That's how we're going to be ruling this place. Going back to the laws. Right?
This is Psalm 73:8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
And they speak everything that happens to us. They're like, bro, you can get over it. Like, for example, like, you know how many times we haven't talked to white people about what the conquering of our land, about the enslavement of our people, and they say, get over it, bro. That's why are you living in the past. How does that sound to you, bro? Say, forget about me killing over 100 million of your people. That's in the past. They speak loftily, bro. They're like, it's whatever. You know what I mean? But that's something tragic that happened to us, bro.
Verse 36 of Deuteronomy 28. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
And they're gonna bring that happened in Spain as well, right? I mean, the Spain person came to, where is that? Puerto Rico? To Puerto Rico, and took their king over there and took him back over there to Spain. Same thing happened in Africa, right? The Ghanaian, what's his name? So here's the thing. So these are prophecies that happen, and it says we're gonna serve wood and stone there. You know what I mean? What is these wood and stone? I mean, these are these different ideologies, these different religions. What's the wood, bro? That's Catholicism, right? How many times do you not see our people in Catholicism bowing down to an idol, bowing down to the cross? And the stone is what? The Mecca cobblestone. That stone that's out there in Mecca that people, Latinos are actually turning into Muslims at a high rate. You know what I mean? I remember before finding this, I was trying to be a Muslim. I'm trying to find out the truth. But that's not our culture, bro. None of that resonated with me. I didn't read that and said, you know what, this is me right here. I couldn't do that, bro. But let one brother bring out Deuteronomy 28 and show me the curses that the Israelites are going through, and all of that resonated with me because we are those people. You know what I mean?
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
Right, an astonishment and a byword. What do they call us, bro? Border hoppers, tortilla eaters, damn spics, wetbacks. They have all kinds of names for us, bro. Even yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even just that. You know what I mean? And like I was telling you, our people, Tarascans. That's what they have us down as in anthropology, right there, Tarascans. When that's a derogatory term for our people. You know what I mean?
Verse 39. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt not drink of the wine nor the grapes.
Right, and that's what's going on in Central California right now. Just here, even just here, but if we focus just in this state, we're the ones doing all of that, right? In Watsonville, in Salinas, in Portersville, we're the ones doing all of this. Get over that 104. Get the one where as swift as an eagle flies. Yeah, I got it.
Verse 49.
This one out, bro. This is the one that got me, right?
Okay, let me start at verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
We're gonna serve our enemies. Like I was telling you, bro, you brought out who's our enemies. Who is our enemies? White people, Europeans. Okay, watch this.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou hast been destroyed.
So look, brother, I'm gonna ask you something, right? So like how I said, all of these curses are gonna happen because we didn't listen to the Most High God, right? And I'm gonna bring this right back to something that I had brought up earlier. Even the smoking, bro. If it's a curse, if the Most High is gonna put us through curses for disobeying what He said, and one of the commandments for herbs was that you're supposed to eat it and not smoke it, how can you sit there and say this all makes sense, but I'm gonna still be doing the opposite of that? This is the same reason why we're in this predicament, because we hear everything and we're like, yeah, this makes sense. I believe this, but we're ignoring the how would you say that what comes with being an Israelite? You know what I mean? So we're ignoring that the Most High said do this, and this is the same predicament that why we're in it, bro. You know what I mean? I know, bro. Trust me, I know smoking weed can be very hard to leave. You know what I mean? But when you have that faith, when you have that, you know what, this isn't for me no more, I want to grow, then it's easy to let go, bro. It's way easy to let go.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies.
Right? As swift as an eagle flies, the Most High is going to bring that nation over here to you. Right? An eagle is symbolic with every Caucasian and a European nation, bro. Rome, Spain, Germany, all these, any Caucasian thing you want to think about, bro, they have the eagle on it. You know what I mean?
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Did we speak Spanish before the conquistador came over here? Right? We spoke Nahuatl. We spoke all these other indigenous languages, dialects, right? Which are all broke off, bastardized versions of Hebrew. Right? Give me that in Obadiah 1 and 4.
Obadiah chapter 1 verse 4.
And Obadiah is speaking about a judgment against Edom. Edom is the progenitor of the white man, bro. This whole chapter here is against the white people. Right, go ahead.
So Obadiah verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
So these people who think that they're all high and mighty, what did they say when supposedly they went to the moon? What was the first thing they said when they touched down? Okay, that, but also the eagle has landed, right? So here's the thing. That's a predatory bird, bro. That's an apex predator. That's the highest predator bird you can think of, an eagle, bro. And it's sitting up high, looking down on everything. That's what I'm saying. And these are all these damn skyscrapers that they have out here too. You know what I mean? They want to feel that they're those that they have such an arrogancy to them, bro. You know what I mean?
Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
But like I said, they literally killed over 100 million of us, bro. And that's the numbers they give us. You know what I mean? How much more? There's millions of people that died on the way over here in slavery too, and from getting shipped out somewhere else. You know what I mean?
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
So he's killing all of our animals, and what is he giving us instead to eat? This is where we get the slave food from, bro. Chicharrones, and everything that comes with pig, because we weren't eating pig. Pig is the most disgusting animal there is on the earth, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's not indigenous to you. You know what I mean? But we're being those people that we are, so cultured, so good at everything. We made that crap taste something good, though. But the Bible says we're not even supposed to be touching a dead pig. Nonetheless, eat it. You know what I mean? Do you eat pork, bro? Yeah? Yeah? It's a fish. Right, so if you're gonna go that way, what is the better fish to eat?
I've been eating salmon and cod, like tuna and stuff.
Okay, salmon and cod, but here's the thing, there's different kinds of tuna, right? There's some tuna that have micro scales, right? And that's a tuna fish that you see everywhere. I never liked tuna as a kid, it always smelled weird to me, right? But here's the thing, they have micro scales. And why is it so important that it's not actual big scales, like how a salmon has? Because micro scales don't fall off, they stay on them, right? Regular scales stay on them. I mean, regular scales fall off and all the parasites that are on them fall off. That's why tuna, bro, I used to work at this business, right, cooking. They used to bring $1,000 worth of tuna fish, super great tuna fish, but it was those micro scale tuna fish. And you know what my job was? To get tweezers and pull out the parasites out of it. That's still a disgusting thing, bro. Same thing with pork. You know what I mean? That's a disgusting animal. There's actually a tuna that you can eat, but it costs, I don't know how many thousands per pound, bro. They're not gonna, yellowfin, they're not gonna feed you that here at a regular, when you go to Safeway. You know what I mean? So yeah, stick to the salmon, the cod.
Yeah, and the reason why the Lord told us to eat the fish with scales is because the scales it's a purpose for it, right? The scales is it's like a protective layer over the fish, because a fish will shed its scales and at the same time shedding its parasites that are leeching onto it, right? And if you read the Hebrew word for scales, it goes back to chainmail. Chainmail is a protective layer over someone's body, which is the same thing for the scales for the fish.
This is Leviticus 11 and 12. Whatsoever hath no fins, nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you.
Right, so what comes from the ocean that doesn't have fins or scales? Squid, octopus, yeah? Bro, even something that's shrimp. Oysters, right? Like I was saying, lobsters, bro, crab. Why, these are abominations. These are bottom feeders, bro. You know what I mean? These are, like I said, bro, this is the mentality you gotta think about it, bro. We're kings. This is gonna belong to us. You know what I mean? When we're ruling, we're not gonna be eating this crap, bro. We're gonna be eating like a king should be eating. You know what I mean? So what are we supposed to be eating? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
This is John 7 and 49. But this people who knoweth not the law are cursed.
And this is the thing, now we got to get familiar with what God requires of us, right? And what's required of us is in the laws of God. The same books that we're supposed to be reading that the church told you not to read. What do you go about when you go? You'll never hear a pastor, a priest, anybody going into Deuteronomy, going into Leviticus, going into Genesis, right? Exodus. They might bring up Exodus, right? But here's the thing, they're not going to bring up the laws of God because they're done away with now. You can do whatever you want. All you got to do is just believe now. But God said, do what I told you to do. Right? Give me Luke 6 and 46. Right, and can you get Matthew 7 and 22 in the NLT one that you had? Matthew 7 and 22. And this is what I was going into my lesson, bro, that our people have been taught to just believe. I mean, that believing is just good enough, right? But the Bible and the Word of God and what Jesus taught is the same thing. Jesus is not going to contradict God. You know what I mean? And like as also what the church teaches, that Jesus is God. That's also not true. No? So get that verse.
Matthew 7 and 22 in the NLT. On Judgment Day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name and cast out demons in your name, and performed many miracles in your name.
Isn't that not what the church does? They say we did this. They don't do exorcisms supposedly in the Catholic Church. They don't make people dance and do all this crap in the church, and you fall down because you got the Holy Spirit on you supposedly in the church, right?
But I will reply, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who breaks God's laws.
This is Jesus talking. You who break God's laws. And what is one of those laws? Not eating pork. Not eating anything that doesn't have fins and scales in it. You know what I mean? We eat the animals we're supposed to eat because God told us to do it, period. And the beautiful thing from it is that it has a purpose. I mean, we're eating clean animals. You're actually keeping the law right now, bro. Keep growing a beard. I mean, that's actually a law. And when did they start telling us to shave our face? During slavery. When they started calling us what? Hey, boy. They wanted you to seem like a kid to them. You know what I mean?
This is Luke chapter 6 and 46. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say?
The important thing, it says, do not the things which I say. Right? Why don't you're calling me Lord, Lord, and you're not doing what I tell you. You can believe all you want, but you're not doing it. You know what I mean?
This is verse 49. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great.
And here's the thing, you can, like I told you, bro, it can resonate with you, but if you're not doing anything, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I know everything comes with time, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully this is something that resonates with you, and you don't have to put off till next week, till next month to say, all right, you know what, I have an ounce at the house, I'll stop smoking when I have an ounce, when I'm run through that ounce. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. But make it into anything, bro.
Alright.
Yeah, bro. They got gummies, all
ice
kinds of
cream,
stuff.
chocolate, and soda.
Also, here's the thing. The brother brought up something very important. I said gummies. A lot of gummies have gelatin in it. That's also pork. You know what I mean? No, that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you also gotta watch what gelatin you're eating. Some of them will say vegetable gelatin. I mean, or vegan, exactly. But even, bro, this is so crazy. That's what I'm saying. Even vegan sometimes has stuff in it, bro. I mean, this is when it starts getting hard, bro. You know what I mean? When you start overthinking it. But it's really nothing hard when you're eating better, you know? So you're gonna go through that little bit extra stuff. Like, for example, there's even wine that has pork in it, bro. Why is it in pork? There's toothpaste that has pork in it. There's gum that has pork in it. Bro, it doesn't make sense why it's in it. But it does make sense when you start realizing, you know what, we're not supposed to be doing this. What more wicked, evil, twisted thing can you do than put it in everything that we have, bro? The milk, bro, it's in milk. Why, bro?
This is why. Ezekiel 4 and 14. 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles.
Their defiled bread.
Whether I will drive them.
See what I'm saying? This is all prophesied in the Bible that it was going to be this way. You know? So, what did you have? Yeah, get that.
This is James 1 and 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
You know what I mean? So be doers of this, bro, because this is going to benefit you in the long run. I mean, even in the short run. But it all comes with something, bro. And you said you brought up a question I would ask you now. What do you think about what we're teaching you? What do you think about it?
Whatever I had already in my head is just that you just like put much more like bigger shield around it. Yeah, I'll probably like read everything, you know, the whole thing when we come.
bad, brother. I could barely hear you, brother. Say one more time.
Oh no, it's like everything that like whatever I was like already like going whatever path I was trying to do, just self-righteous on my own. Like whatever everything that was just said here, it's more so like you guys just put like some kind of like a shield around my shield already. You know what I mean? And then like so it's like it's doubled, it's improved. But that still doesn't like I'm not gonna stop like learning like oh this is just one lesson, that's it. Like no, I'll probably keep going my own way with much more like stuff like what you got in your books or like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
so and this is something that you can't naysay now. You can't we can bring out history, archaeology, prophecy, and it's all gonna tie into each other. And there's no way to go around that. You know? So bro, we've debated hundreds, thousands of people on this stuff. You know, we've had damn scientists come up here, people that supposedly went to college for all this stuff, and we talk about the Bible. We've had supposedly Jewish people here come up and say, you know what, you are actually those people. We've had them bow down in front of us and say that, you know? So this is stuff that you can't really go against, bro. So if you are studying it, you're gonna come back to it, you know? So, and I'm gonna tell you this, we're here every single Saturday, bro. You can add us on social media, see all these thousands of videos we already have on any question you might have already.
Oh yeah, we're more
than likely.
We'll be up there in like a couple weeks, you know.
Hey, you got a flyer?
I have a flyer right under.
Do you have any question you want to?
No. I mean, so it's like take it easy on the smoking, but make edibles.
Don't take it easy on the smoking. Just don't smoke.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So don't smoke, but like edibles is cool. Like I can.
Edibles is cool, brother.
Put it in brownies and such. Yeah.
Like I'm saying, don't chase a high. You know what I mean? If you need it, I mean, it's there. God put it there first, right? But eat it because of something. Don't eat it just because you just want to get high.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
This is Sirach. Let's start at the top. Sirach 5:5. Set thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength, to walk in thy ways of thy heart, and say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely avenge thy pride.
Right? Like, don't go back home and be like, you know what? No one's gonna say nothing if I don't. Those guys from 16th aren't here no more. They're not gonna see me, right? The Most High sees everything. It says his eyes are brighter than 1,000 suns. You know what I mean? 10,000 suns.
10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord is long suffering. He will in no wise let thee go. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. And say not, his mercy is great. For he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation setteth upon sinners.
Right?
Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance.
Like I was saying, like with my boys that I had, man. Same thing, they'll be like, you know what, it all resonates with me, and they still went back to smoking, to dabbing, to doing all this stuff, and one of them, their lungs popped, the other one had sores and blisters all down his throat, you know what I mean? Because he took it lightly.
There was a brother that actually knew the information for when I first started out, like 3 years. Me and him kind of started at the same time. I knew about this information for 3 years, but I was actually coming out here doing what we're doing today. This was like 2-3 years ago. So he was smoking cigarettes. He's like, man, I want to go down there with you. He wanted me to give him a ride. And I was like, bro, I'm not going to give you a ride down here and you over here smoking and buying weed and smoking cigarettes still. Like, you got to stop doing that. Especially, the same, like, for 3 years. Like, you've known to shoot for 3 years. Like, why don't you stop doing that? So guess what? One day, I'm on Facebook, and I'm scrolling down my timeline, and I see his picture talking about he got killed. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was just talking to this brother. It's probably like maybe a month later, because we didn't talk for a little bit of time after that. But I'm hearing about his story. I'm reading the comments. I'm like, he went to go buy some weed, got killed by going to buy some weed. So that's how God works. Like, if you know the information, and like I said, I didn't know him the whole 3 years, obviously. I just knew him for like maybe 5-6 months. But I told him, like, bro, you got to quit that. I was cordial with him. I wasn't rebuking him like that, but I'm like, bro, you know better. Like, what's going on? And everything that you're doing, keeping the law comes. You gotta keep all the laws if you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? So guess what? Us telling you this today, me personally, I didn't stop smoking weed for about 5 months. Personally, I'm pretty sure other people have testimonies, but me, I'm like, man, eventually I gotta stop doing this. You know what I mean? Because eventually I started having panic attacks. I mean, I never had panic attacks when I was smoking weed. But my heart was jumping out of my chest. I'm like, man, God must be sending me a sign. Stop this if I'm really accepting this information. So I'm telling you that to say the testimony that he gave, the testimony I'm giving you, who knows when God can react or give you some type of ailment or, put you in a predicament where you can't escape. Or he might let you just go off the deep end. You know what I mean? We don't have no control over that. Only God knows. But at the same time, we prefer you to gradually step away from that particular action. Like I said, there's plenty of benefits to just ingesting marijuana, like I said. Not for, like I said, chasing the high, but just for medicinal purposes. Like I said, we have THC receptors in our brain and our stomachs because it's meant to be ingested in our body. You know what I mean?
And that's powerful that the brother brought out Sirach 5, right? Because it says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord. Some like my brother that I knew, it happened the very next day. To him, it happened 5 months later. But you don't know when it's going to happen. It says in your security it's going to happen. And you said your name was Daniel, no? So here's the thing. Daniel Allah in the Hebrew goes back to saying, God is my judge. That's something that you hear all the time. Oh, only God can judge me. Bro, that should terrify you. The Most High doesn't play. You know what I mean? I would rather somebody tell me what they think about me and cast a judgment on me than the Most High. You know what I mean? The Most High doesn't play, bro. He is most likely going to kill you. That's the thing. The Most High is serious, bro. Right. I mean, and even just with your name, that should be something that's powerful to you, you know?
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12. For it was neither herb nor mollifying plaister that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things.
So the Most High's word is going to heal everything. You know what I mean? Bro, we had brothers that have done way worse things than weed. You know what I mean? And they come back and now they're the ones teaching people to stop doing this. You know? All praises, man.